Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Foundation Season 3 by Story Archives. I'm one half of your host, Mario Busto, alongside
the other half of your host, Zachary Newton. Welcome back.
We are back with Season 3, Episode 8, titled, I love the title. It's one of my favorite phrases to use in life, skin in the game. All right?
Oh, yeah.
Skin in the game, baby. Gotta have some skin in the game for it to matter. And this one was another filler episode. Just kidding. That's just going to be the running joke of the show from now on. I don't understand how this is number 4 on the Apple Top 10 right now. Okay?
Oh, me
This is number 4. This is the number 1 show on television right now. Okay? This episode solidified that for me personally. Number 1 show. Wow. Yeah, man. It's just, the thing is that the vibes from episode to episode, we're in a unique place right now. And very few shows are able to hit this sort of groove where every main character storyline is interesting. There's not a time where we go to another character on screen where you're like, it's this guy.
That's true. It does feel like a very level playing field right now. Yeah.
So like back, we're the Game of Thrones show. We're literally like the guys who always reference Game of Thrones for everything. Game of Thrones hit that at a certain point where you're like, wow, everything is amazing. We're going from Tyrion to Jon Snow to Daenerys to what the hell was that guy's name? Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Just all the different characters that just became interesting over time. And now we're doing that on Foundation. I dare say that Foundation it's very crazy thing to say, but doing it almost better because Demerzel's storyline is crazy interesting. Okay.
Very, yeah. Surprisingly so, yeah.
Very surprisingly so. I did not know she was a savior figure, okay? Yeah. I did not know she was literally like a messianic figure to these people. I thought she was like just a robot and they were going to just, they were just happy to have one robot.
Yeah.
But no, she's apparently like the Jesus of robots. Like, that is just like, they're doing the whole imagery of she's the one who's going to stop all cruelty and think. And they even got like their own sort of Pharisee. That Sun Master is a straight up Pharisee, Sadducees. Yeah. That is what he is. He's a fraud. He's a fake. He doesn't want anybody to know that, Demerzel could exist because then he would lose his little cultish, freakish power.
Yeah.
With his little anorexic Doc Ock looking self. His voice, damn, that was really rude to me. His voice really doesn't match the way he looks.
No, he doesn't. I mean, but I'm glad he kind of turned out to be a fraud, right? Because I don't really want him to be this very strong figure, this very strong character. He just seems completely off to me. Like he just feels like a side character, like someone who thinks he's bigger and badder than he really is. I feel like he's gonna die pretty soon. Would be my guess. Sideshow
Bob.
Yeah.
I thought he was very Bond villainy in this episode with the remediation inheritors.
Let me tell you my plan, and then we'll let it unfold.
He even did like a whole thing when he was looking at Day, like in between all the bodies, like piling on top of him to remove the cuffs. And then he had like 17 bodies on top of him for some reason. The whole damn sequence felt like an interpretive dance, which was funny to me.
It was. That's what I wrote down too. It had me laughing a little bit.
I did find it a bit traveling into the corny section when he was like, why would I want them to know? Like, why would he do that? Unless, final jab that he was getting in before this guy went into the, I don't want to say Proton River because I just saw Superman, but whatever the microscopic bacterial river that's going to just eat him. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hell of an episode.
It was a great episode.
If all of you out there are enjoying the show as much as we are and you're enjoying our podcast coverage, make sure to like this episode. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are at 914 subscribers. Thank you, good people. We're trying to crack 1,000. So if you're enjoying this stuff, I was telling Zach the other day privately, I'm not just saying this for the show. I don't remember such an action-packed September full of shows. There are a ton of shows coming out in September that have been coming out now. That it's just kind of I just don't remember it being ever this jam-packed with good quality television shows. We have the verdict is still out on Invasion Season 3. If you know, we have covered Seasons 1 and 2. 2 was very disappointing to us personally after Season 1 was a classic.
It was great.
We are going to watch season 3. It will have to hook us back in whether we decide to cover it. Now, we probably end up doing at least an episode to wrap. If it sucks, we'll end up doing like an episode to just, cap season 3. If it's good, then you'll catch us picking it up wherever we decide that it's good from. And that's what'll happen there. But then September's loaded, man. We got Slow Horses coming back. We have
So excited.
we have a new show coming out from the creator of Peaky Blinders, which, if you didn't know, we are the #1 Peaky Blinders podcast. You search up Peaky Blinders podcast, we're gonna pop up somewhere near the top. Okay, and they're making a show about the Guinness family, and apparently that's gonna be pretty good. So I'm very
House of Guinness.
House of Guinness, I guess. I don't know. And yeah, so just make sure to subscribe to the channel. Follow us on IG at Mario Busto and Zachary R. Newton. And also, Zach, thank you for supporting my production company with the nice 1992 Films hat right there. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
I designed it years ago. Very, very, very plain and very small. Too small for my head. So we must design new hats so it can fit my big old head.
Yeah.
And
mine's not quite as bodacious
Robust.
as yours may be, but
I have
it works.
I would say definitely a larger head than you for sure.
Yeah.
All right, lots of stuff went down in this episode. Once again, a lot of great world building. We got our first look at the Sanatorium, which looked awesome. Okay. There's a lot to unpack with this whole religion thing. I feel like we haven't had enough time to dive into the nitty-gritty of it, but they seem to have a whole dance presentation for Day, aka Cleon the 24th, which was interesting to say the least. And we got a new wrinkle in the Day storyline that I was not expecting, which is pretty much new mission unlocked, free Demerzel. Because now Demerzel is going to be the key to saving everything,
Humanity,
apparently.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a little vague, right? So it seems what we're heading towards, and maybe I disagree a little bit because I think Dusk does need to unleash Navacula. I don't think he's wrong for it. All right, the Mule is a big time issue here. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to see that weapon unleashed, but it seems to me that Day does not want. He doesn't know about the Navacula, but it seems to me that that is going to be the chief thing here. Is Demerzel fighting this sort of no choice scenario where she has to follow through with Dusk to use the Navacula on a planet. Seemingly they're going to use it on New Terminus, I would assume, because that's where the Mule is currently. Maybe he heads to another planet and he uses it on that instead. But yeah, and then there's just so many things to dissect from this episode. We got the Harry Seldon Mule meetup, which was incredible. In fact, there was a split second where I thought Harry was going to kill the Mule.
There was a moment where I wrote in my notes, I'm like, is this about to be a massive plot hole where it's just like, look, Harry could have fried the Mule just like he did, what was it, the Warden in season 2?
Yeah, I'm not confused as to why he didn't do it, but because we find out that the Mule has a secret, and we've been talking about that for a minute now, that he has something deeper to him, and we will only know that through our handy dandy Gail Dornick narrations that let us know he has a secret, which is another reason to hate the Gail Dornick narrations, right? Because why the hell would you give that away? It's so much more interesting to find out in this episode that he has a secret than it is to find out on episode 2. Oh, the Mule was driven by a secret. Come on.
Yeah,
anyways,
no, I wish I could turn it off. Yeah. I feel like you made this point before. Like, if we could turn off Gale's narrations, it would almost be like, playing a video game without a HUD on. You just get immersed into the story. So I wish that were an option, at least as we move into season 4.
Yeah, Harry is playing his poker face is pretty strong here. I'm slightly unaware of whether he is aware Gale is still alive. I think he doesn't, like he says, he doesn't have the emotions to actually feel. But I think he was finding certain things out here from the Mule that he didn't know. For example, and I could be wrong here, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Zach. This version of Harry doesn't know Gale's alive.
I don't believe so. I'm sure he knew Gale was alive at some point, in season 2, but it's been, 100 years or so again?
150, something like that.
I don't think he has any awareness of her being alive. It would just be a best guess. And odds are she's probably dead. Honestly. But she's not.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know that. But he doesn't.
Well, she may be heading to her death because part of this
True.
whole episode, which is interesting that Demerzel just kind of let her go on her own. I would like to know what happened at the end of that meeting with Demerzel, that
There's
they just
gotta be a
decided to split
flashback.
ways. Yeah,
There's
right.
got to be a flashback in the next episode or two, just like what was said when they departed. There's got to be some secret plan we're just completely unaware of.
Also, why didn't Demerzel scoop up Don? I'm assuming they have his nanites that they could track. Why wouldn't they just scoop him up in the ship? Why would they allow him to just drift through space like that? I think that might be a little bit of a plot hole, to be honest.
Maybe. I mean, she could have just assumed he was dead. Although I would think his nanites would still be working. So
Yes.
that part I don't quite understand. I also don't quite understand if he does have his nanites, why they aren't healing him. Like, that's a whole nother situation. Maybe the nanites were destroyed by the heat and by his suit sucking the heat out of him to basically have power.
I don't know. I do think there's plenty of areas where they could just make up crap to, say, oh, that's the explanation for this. But it felt a little odd to me that she told Dusk that he was dead when they would clearly know he's not dead. And we find out his story that he was drifting in and out of consciousness. So he never died. Okay. And the mule picked him up. So I think that might be a plot hole, to be honest with you. Just to get him over to the mule. Somehow I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked because, well, I wasn't shocked that he was alive. I was shocked that he was on the mule ship.
I did find that surprising.
I was shocked he was on the mule ship. I thought Torin and Beta picked him up. But then I remembered Torin left without Beta. So I was like, how's Beta here?
Yeah, so I was going to say Beta picked him up, sort of, somehow.
Well, we can talk about Beta, too, because I made a comment an episode ago that I really do believe she has mentalic powers. And when she tells the mule to leave, I can't throw that as just a throwaway line or, attribute that to just a throwaway line. I am greatly assuming or thinking that she has very strong mentalic powers, and she's been hinting at it all season about how she's able to get people to like her.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that when that went down, when she told the mule to leave?
I mean, it's not something I've picked up on, this season, and I know you've been talking about it, but I haven't seen anything where I'm like, oh yeah, she's got mentalic powers or anything like that. However, in the scene where she basically tells the mule it's time for you to go, there's no other way that I can interpret that beyond like she has mentalic powers, whether or not she was using them, whether or not she's successful with it. That's to be seen. I mean, he did actually end up leaving.
We didn't get a gender on his younger sibling.
No,
his younger sibling could be Beta, or perhaps could be Magnifico Giganticus.
You got the name right this time.
Was it?
Congratulations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which we did not get a view of Magnifico this episode. Which is interesting. Nor of Torin, nor of Han Pritchard.
Yes.
Is Han Pritchard captured?
No, remember he escaped.
He went to the planet.
Then flew down to the planet. So what he's doing
Gale,
down there, I don't know.
Him and Gale will be touching base then.
Yeah.
By the way, just not a fan of Gale.
We haven't been for a while. And the sad thing is, the narrations are what makes me less of a fan of her. Like, it's just, it's like pouring salt in a wound.
You know what it is that...
a little annoying.
Let me try to explain myself, because some of the audience members would be like, why do you guys hate Gale so much? How is she at fault here? Blah, blah, blah. I like Gale. For a multitude of reasons.
Okay.
However, there are certain things she says and does that makes her feel inhuman. For example, when she says to, what is the name? Previs? What's the name of the first speaker?
Yeah,
Let's just call him the first speaker.
Yeah, first speaker.
Previs or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
When she says or signs to Previs, hey, Pritchard's captured. Is he alive? It would be worse if he's alive than if he was dead. When she says comments like that, I'm like, man, she's heartless. And I get it to a certain extent. Because of how heartless and cold she is, she has saved the Second Foundation, because if she had had any sort of soft, confiding moment with Cleon or Don, then the Mule would have found out where the Second Foundation was, and he could have just took his whisper ship over there in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Right?
Wiped him out.
I didn't like what she said about Han Pritchard. It just makes her feel very heartless and cruel. And I just sometimes don't buy when she has like these emotions. I really do think that she's just so committed to the plan. She's like a ruthless sports coach who just sells a star player that served him well for years and just ships him off to another team. That's kind of the vibes that she gives. And it's a little bit unlikable.
That or just a completely brainwashed individual who's been indoctrinated with this, plan from Selden. That's a possibility too.
It's called psychohistory.
I personally did not mind her comments about, it would be worse if Han were alive. I feel like if we were watching an action movie and that was another guy talking about like, some other dude from his team member, like we wouldn't even think about it. The thing that does it for me is the fact that she baits Dawn into essentially like completely obliterating another planet with the enclosure. Like that, it's the moves like that really just eats at me. I'm just like, then I'm hyperanalyzing everything you do and everything you say, and it's like there's things that just don't add up. So like if she didn't do that to Callaghan and to the Empire's fleet, I don't think you'd even be thinking about that line too much, because it's logical. It is very logical. So
yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. The Callaghan annihilation was the straw that broke the camel's back for psychohistory, in my opinion. But to be fair to psychohistory and to Harry Seldon, according to Selden, when he's talking to the Mule, he says, I haven't directed, the orders of the Foundation in, hundreds of years. So it ain't on me, pal. I'm just saying, and to a certain extent, you can kind of like say, okay, he is right. He's just saying these things are going to happen, but he did put plans into place, and we could talk about a multitude of them. For example, he could have killed the Mule right here.
Yeah.
He's deciding to selfishly not kill the Mule. Because if he doesn't kill the Mule, then Avacula's not going to get used. Okay.
If he doesn't kill the Mule, then Avacula's going to get used.
If he kills the Mule,
yes,
it's not going to be used because the threat is
yes.
gone. And Gale and him do these things where they prioritize the Foundation to the detriment of lives all over the galaxy, right? And they do these things in the name of greater good. But then Callaghan gets literally annihilated, and like you lose billions of lives. And we've gotten some sort of idea of the scope of some of these planets with the Cloud Dominion visit. Just those three planets alone, they said have over 5 billion souls, not counting Trantor.
Yeah.
So I would assume Callaghan had a couple billion, if I would assume correctly there. That's kind of crazy to say that you're doing that. They pretty much created the Mule because of the Foundation. We know that for a fact.
Yep.
And Harry is able to deduce where he is from. What was the bit that Harry said that? Oh, he didn't mention the name of the planet. That was what he said, right? Did he say anything about the name of anything else?
No, he didn't mention. The Mule didn't mention the name of the planet to Harry, but Harry was able to deduce the planet of, I think it was Rossum.
Rossum, yeah.
Yeah.
But, to our point that we've talked about, the Foundation, or the first Foundation, has just turned into another version of Empire. So there's like, I see this would be a good clip if we had an editor to edit the clip. This is the sort of little dynamic that I'm seeing taking place in the show right now. We have 4 different philosophies, and then 2 of each of those cross over with each other tremendously. You have the first Foundation and Empire are essentially the same thing. The first Foundation is just kind of an early phase version of Empire. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to add a 5th wild card in there, the Mule represents anarchy and overthrowing the entire old order of doing things. Okay, with an authoritarian regime. Then you have the last 2, which is the Mycogen robot religion and the Second Foundation, both of which have a crossover in this thing that they mentioned in this episode. We find out about the Braven skull that has the handshake initiation, and then we get the Demerzel flashback that says something about the clasp, how all the robots shared one mind in some way. Mm-hmm. And then you have the first speaker mention that all of the Mentalics share a mind in some way, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of have that sort of, synchronicity between those two, so that the story is essentially telling us that the good guys are the robots, mm-hmm. and the second foundation that have the same tenets as those robots shared, right? Whereas and the first foundation and Empire and the Mule are the enemies.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm seeing in terms of the players on the chessboard right now.
That's a very interesting. I did not draw the comparison of the Mentalics to the clasp with the robots, but I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, every time we are watching a show, like, there's always so many parallels in the storytelling, which I think it's impressive how well some shows do it. Game of Thrones being one of them, but this one as well. It's very engaging. And it's fun to see, like, okay, got it. Like, you're kind of figuring out I feel like at times the same story, just from a different perspective. So I love that.
Yeah, no, it is definitely it is a sign of a good storytelling when you see those kind of crossovers, I think, mm-hmm. in the stories. I do wonder what the first foundation Harry's going to do, or how he's going to find out what the Mule secret is, and whether... I really find it hard to believe that we're going to get the Mule storyline wrapped up in this season. I just personally can't imagine that he's going to be a one-season character. I just can't imagine it. But then again, we have 5 crises, I think.
Maybe. I don't remember
This is the third crisis.
They're on the third now, yeah.
I believe there's 2 or 3 more, if I'm not mistaken. So
maybe, and there may have been, but I think that the problem is there's just a big unknown right now because there's no data after the end of this third crisis. Like, it's just like the math isn't able to predict.
Math ain't math.
Yeah, it definitely ain't math. And I will say this episode, you and I've kind of hated on Harry a bit, right? Because he's kind of the father of everything that's been happening with.
Well, apparently not.
Foundation.
Apparently Demerzel.
Well, that's true. She's been guiding a lot of it. But I was going to say this episode made me not hate Harry as much, because I'm like, that's actually a pretty fair point. Like, you haven't really guided the Foundation that much. Like, you just know what's going on because of the predictions and the math, and this is how societies tend to evolve. Like, there are certain eras that you go through. Like, yeah, like, he really kind of only stepped in season 2 with Hober Mallow, and saved the Foundation effectively. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's not so much a bad guy. He feels like such a wild card to me. Like, I don't know what to anticipate with him.
He always has been. I will say there was a moment in watching his interaction with the Mule. It was probably one of the most fascinating interactions in the entire episode, and maybe the entire season, where I was just like, Jared Harris plays this role so well. Mm-hmm. And I gotta just say, like, hats off to Apple to be able to remember the Foundation. People have been trying to make the Foundation into a movie or show for decades. Mm-hmm. And they said it was the unmakeable show. They said that this show could not be it could not be made in such a way that it would be an interesting story, right? Mm-hmm. Not that it wasn't interesting in the books, but that it would have been impossible to tell the story, through motion picture. And I think they've done an incredible job. Obviously adding, I think, their own tweaks to the story, right? Obviously, but all in all, I do think they've been telling a very difficult story to tell in a very smooth way. And speaking of smooth, I don't know how Lee Pace always ends up with the most interesting story, lines and whatnot, but Day always just seems to have the most interesting storylines. All right.
I mean, he's Empire. He's at the center of everything.
And, the Empire always seems to go through this atonement thing. Remember the season where he does that walk through the Luminous planet to go and and find out if he has a soul. And it's one of the saddest scenes in the entire
It's true.
series. I forgot about it until I just brought it up right now. That emptiness feeling that he has when he goes into that cavern and there's just nothing there, like reaching back out to him. And I was
No
like,
vision. Yeah.
exactly. Um, Days in the midst of this mycogen trial of sorts, and it's interesting to me, like all the things that could go wrong. Now, granted, the episode does end with the cliffhanger of him falling through the trap door and going to this supposed river that is supposed to kill him. But I think I feel vindicated in saying that he would be a good ruler, because he is making a pretty just assessment of the situation, and he is not a closed-minded ruler. He is hearing these people's story. He's hearing about Demerzel. He's hearing these things, and his conclusion is, I have to free her. And by freeing her is not helping him; it's helping the people, right?
Yeah.
It's helping humanity, which we learned a few things, man, in this episode that were pretty interesting. Like when they call him the descendant of the first descendant of Earth, or something like that. It is always interesting to me to tie this story back to Earth. For me, it sort of grounds it and makes it hit a bit harder, because I picture our existence and imagining what life would be like 1,000 years from now, for example, and what could happen. But it does make it all the more interesting in that way. And then the little robot tools that we saw had the word Earth on it as well. So we find out about the sort of origin of the robots a bit more in this episode. We learn about the cloning process a bit more, how it's going to actually take days for the clones to decant them.
Yeah.
Part of me does wonder if destroying that facility destroys the Cleons, and if that would be the end of it, and then that would be the end of Demerzel being enslaved to them.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Like, if there are no Cleons, I feel like we or she would be free. And one of the thoughts I had was, first off, I think we're in for a hell of a penultimate and finale episode. Like, I think this is probably going to put season 2 to shame, which was pretty damn epic as well. With Dave floating off into space to this planet he's destroyed.
You think so? I think we're heading towards a cliffhanger season ending. If I had to
think
guess.
so, but I think it'll be epic. And one of the things that I feel like we might end up seeing. Well, first off, we're definitely going to see this Novacula used at some point in this season. It's got to happen. I almost think that Dusk may realize that all of these planet leaders came to not basically get his permission on, but to warn him and inform him about. I feel like that may actually come to pass, and the Mule's going to come to Trantor, and Dusk isn't going to be there, and Demerzel is not going to be there, but Dusk is going to turn the weapon on Trantor and destroy Trantor. I feel like something like that could totally happen, and it would be the downfall of Empire. It would destroy Empire enough to the point where I don't think there's anything left for Demerzel to be bound to in the manner that she is. So maybe that's sort of the cliffhanger that we get to.
I mean, I could see Trantor being annihilated. It would be devastating, I think. For me as a viewer, because Trantor is my favorite of all of the planets and the cities. So to see it destroyed would be a mega loss to the lore of like learning about this universe. But I do think I just can't see this season ending without the Mule winning the battle, at least the first battle with Gale. I would assume that Pritchard is going to die. Because he's the only one who would have the information of the second foundation that's there.
Yeah.
I think Gale escapes somehow. Or who knows, maybe Gale and Pritchard die, and what happens, the person who kills the Mule is his younger sibling, and we find out eventually who that person is. I have no idea. Or maybe Magnifico turns on the Mule. and helps Gale to defeat him.
Yeah.
But I just wonder what happens like with the whole show's conclusion. Is the show's conclusion going to be Demerzel is the new emperor of the universe, ending all cruelty and misery? Or, it just feels a little bit too soon. So I am expecting a crazy twist that accounts for that glitch in the math. I don't think we have seen that moment yet, but I do think it's going to be something horribly unpredictable.
Catastrophic too.
Yeah. And then I think that's how the season ends, with whatever that is, whether it's the Navacula firing, whether it's Gale dying, whether it's whatever it may be, something crazy is going to happen before the end of the season that leaves us on the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. First off, I would absolutely hate if the cliffhanger is in any way tied to the same cliffhanger that we got in season 2. That would be so ridiculous.
What is the cliffhanger being, season 2?
The cliffhanger being the vision of the Mule and Gale.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's got to be some closure to that as well in this. Like, I don't think we can. I think you'd lose a lot of the audience if you did not have some closure on that cliffhanger in the season and you just drug it out to a season 4. So I guess my question for you is, do you think that Gale is going to change the vision she's had by basically taking the battle to the Mule on New Terminus? Or do you think we're going to somehow find ourselves on Trantor with the Mule and Gale and see some sort of showdown there?
Didn't we find out that vision was Trantor?
Yeah, we did.
From Demerzel. She's the one who knew that it was Trantor. So she has to fight him on Trantor. I don't know. I don't think that will happen this season. I was about to say that the fight's going to take place where they are right now in New Terminus because the city is burning in the background. So I said maybe it's happening there, but I think that I just don't see that getting resolved. He's too big of a villain. In fact, this may be like if anybody's ever watched Naruto, this feels like I don't see there ever being a villain as epic as the Mule in this show ever again. So enjoy what this is, because I don't see the show getting better than this. After this whole arc is resolved, I don't see the show ever getting as good as this ever again. I could be wrong. I personally don't see how the show gets better after this arc. This arc is so good that I think it's not going to be passable from what we know right now.
I don't know. I mean, let's pretend for a moment like the whole situation with the Mule does get resolved in this season, or even in the next season. Like, I don't care when. After that, I feel like I would really be tied to and into a story where I see Demerzel and like this rebuilding of the robot race. Like, I feel like you could do so much with that storyline because there's so much about the lore and the history in Foundation that is still very interesting. And I feel like if there's a re-emergence of that, I feel like that would be something that would capture my attention at the very least. But to go back to the whole Mule thing, I'm not saying resolved in the sense that like one of them has to die even. I'm wondering, like, is she bringing the battle to New Terminus, and is that going to change the vision that she had, or do you think we're still going to find ourselves on Trantor in this season? And I don't know what the outcome of that is. The outcome could literally be some other thing happens. Maybe they go there, and maybe that's when Dusk fires the Navacula on Trantor, and it's not destroyed. It's just forever changed, whatever that means.
I think that in that vision, Salvor was also there on one of them. I do think Salvor's coming back. They keep dropping her name. I think she is coming back in this series. Next season, I think she'll be back. For all the hell we know in that interaction, Demerzel took that little symbiote, whatever, and put it in the Cleon pods or something like that. For all we know, who knows?
That's interesting. Yeah,
we don't know. So, Yeah. No, I just don't see the storyline resolved. And by the way, it's not a knock on the show. It's a compliment to how good this arc is. That it's just
It's incredible.
it's very difficult to imagine that it could get better than this. If it does, I hope it does.
Yeah. Yeah. And we also don't know what Demerzel like said to Gale, but I guess by the time they left, like there could have been a plan that they both put in place that we're just completely unaware of. Maybe that's why Gale did go to New Terminus. That could have prompted that whole move as well. So I think there's still a lot that we don't know, which is incredible considering how far we are into the season. But man, am I hooked for the next two?
That makes two of us.
Yeah.
Also, a little quick note about Day.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a chance with Song here because her life partner is now wearing the red sash, so she's no longer her life partner. She's the executioner. So I think Day ends back up with Song somehow in this scenario. I think that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah. Maybe it's just for one final embrace or something, but it feels like, I mean, I definitely don't think his storyline is done. Similar to the thing I had to write a note and say suck at Mario on is the fact that Don is still alive. You thought he was dead. They may still be alive.
Hold on.
You've been telling me
yeah.
Don was dead, and I'm like, nah, bro. Like literally to your own rules, man. You got to follow your own rules. Show me the body. If the body's not like, so I don't think we're done with Day.
I literally came up with that one too.
I know you did. That's why I was shocked when you're like, nah, I think he's dead. I think he's dead. So,
Well, I was given false intel by an all-knowing robot. What do you want me to do?
That's fair. It's fair. I mean, I could see how you would be manipulated by a robot. You know,
Yeah,
it happens.
Can we talk about the fact that Demerzel didn't know about the Navacula? I find that to be the most unbelievable thing in this entire episode. Now, she didn't admit to not knowing about it, but she did look very surprised, and she was asking questions as if she didn't know about it.
Very surprised.
So Dusk started working on this thing the moment he became Dusk, when he realized that Day was not suitable to be Emperor, and that he wanted to give it as a gift to Don. I think he was being genuine in those things that he was saying. Now, he did just stomp on a ferret last episode. He does seem to have a little bit of pent-up rage to deal with, and it seems like he's very eager to push the button on the Navacula.
Yes,
and who wouldn't be? Who wouldn't want to push the button on the Navacula?
Let's also not forget that he supposedly only has 49 hours left to live. I think Dusk gave an incredible performance in this episode. Like, I was sucked into the scenes where he was talking. His outrage and anger I was like, whew, okay, is he about to like hit the nuke button right now?
Yeah, so he worked on it for decades, apparently. Without Demerzel knowing. I just don't buy it, dude. I just don't buy it at all.
She seemed too surprised, though. I feel like...
Yeah, I know like she was surprised.
Finally able to pull one over on her.
I get it. I just don't believe it. I just personally do not believe it.
Well, let's also not forget, though, that she has been completely sucked into the math of psychohistory since last season. So she could be very distracted.
She might be. She is a robot, though.
Yes.
Selden had a backup plan, too. I like that. I like that sort of drawing comparisons to Dusk, drawing that comparison between Selden and himself. That even Selden had a backup plan with the second foundation that nobody knew about, and this is his essential second foundation, is the Navacula.
Yeah.
No Torin in this episode at all. We assume he's alive. I'm assuming we'll get some Torin and some Han Pritchard next episode. But Beta is alive and well, and very conspicuously untouched by the Mule, which is too suspicious for me. So I am assuming she's a super powered mutant freak with metallic powers.
I was questioning if that was even Beta for like half the time she was on screen. I'm like, am I sure that's her? She looks different. She seems different. So I don't know.
She looks healthy.
Yeah, she looks healthy, which I wouldn't have expected. That's why I was kind of surprised. I thought she was like a nurse or, somebody under the thumb of the Mule, but maybe
we could take it as wrong. We could take a bit of a hint. The Mule was very deeply affected by the null field. And so was Beta. She passed out from the null field as well. Well, the Mule didn't pass out, but she passed out from the null field. Um, I don't know. I think that's her brother. Just saying.
Hmm. I mean, it could make sense as to why she wasn't harmed, why she seems super healthy.
What was the
I
nickname that
could
she
see
had
something like that.
for herself? The climber. What do they call her?
Yeah, the
Climbers.
climber. Yeah.
So that's a stretch. I was trying to see if there's, for some reason I thought maybe it was the carrier. And then I was like,
Hmm.
mules, carriers,
Mules
you know?
carry things.
Exactly. Um, Gale does set off to New Terminus with what I am calling the metallic Avengers, but I just think they're gonna be bullet sponges for the most part.
Yeah.
When a show introduces characters that we don't know their names and we don't
Hmm.
know their stories, you can all but assume they're going to die in the battle to add some stakes to the battle. But
Yeah.
the only thing we know is that one of them has a British accent. That's all we know of any of them.
Hmm.
And the rest of them, when they die, we will feel nothing because we knew nothing about them.
Hmm.
So I don't like that they did that. I would like to always feel like we're caught up in what's going on with these characters.
Hmm.
But the second foundation will be leaving Ignis and going to another planet. So that is another thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, they're gonna be jumping around for a while. I'm
Yeah.
still I'm still interested though in what the Harry that walked through the portal is
Mhm.
experiencing. I don't think that was just like him walking to heaven or like into his death or anything like that, ascending.
Yeah.
I feel like he walked through a portal to a physical place somewhere,
Do
and
you think
I don't know where that is.
do you think he makes an appearance before the season's end?
I think if there is a cliffhanger, oh man, they're like, this is why I think the
Gale
next two episodes are gonna be crazy, dude. Like in my
Gale
mind,
dies and she goes through the portal. And he says, "Fancy
nah,
seeing you here, Gale
not
Dornick."
not something like that. But I feel like I could totally see um the Navacula being used on Trantor or New Terminus, but I almost feel like the most shocking thing would be Trantor because it's less expected to me. So I could see that being part of just like the overall cliffhanger in terms of like what's coming next. And then, similar to how like at the end of season 2, I feel I remember seeing the dream of Gale where the mule wakes up in like a cold sweat with the blue light coming in through the windows or something.
Hmm.
That feels vivid to me, so hopefully I'm not misremembering that. But I feel like we could see another similar sort of vision or scene somewhere where it's literally Harry Seldon in this alternative place. And so that's going to add a bunch of intrigue. It's like, well, like, okay, again, where is he? Is he in another universe? Hopefully not something that has to do with, gosh, the Constellation show. You know how there was like parallel universes. I hope it's not that. I just mean like literally another solar system or galaxy or something like that.
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
The season has to end with some sort of black hole, and we do know that there's voices coming from the black hole, supposedly, according to Demerzel or something like that.
Hmm.
Right, some noises,
There's a
um,
frequency. Yeah.
frequency. All right, well, that's all I got for this episode, man. I got through all my notes. I was checking them off here, and that's everything I got. You have any final comments, notes, or anything? If you've listened to this podcast so far, make sure that you hit the subscribe button as we get into the after show here pretty soon. Zach, any final comments or notes or discussion points you want to go over?
No, man, I think that covered everything. I do think you're spot on with the whole bullet sponge theory with Gale's crew. I don't think they're gonna live very long. But no, that I think we killed it. That's the episode. Skin in the game. Great episode. All right. Shall we get into a few categories?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna start with your least favorite one because you keep ragging on this one all season. Did any lines stick out to you?
I had a bunch in this one. Finally.
Wow, the one time I almost didn't even ask this. So go ahead. I'll let you take lead on this one.
I liked a lot of lines in this episode. This was a well-written episode for me. Uh, Dusk, when he talks about Dusk, when he talks about Dawn, he says, Cleon the Worthy, he would have been magnificent, the best of us. Then I've got Day, referring to the Brave and Skull. That's just dead metal on a stick. That was a good one. And then I liked, what was the other line, man? There was one more that I can't find in my notes, but I also like the little jingle that the mule sings. The tiniest, who could that be? The tiniest Cleon that ever would be. You know, that whole little song I thought was good.
I like this little fisherman out at sea, pulls up his net. What would it be? That was great. My favorite line was at the beginning of the episode. It was from Harry to the mule. It was, look at you fumbling away in the dark trying to find my mind.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
By the way, I really do think that the composers that are doing the music for this show have been taking inspiration from other series and other shows. Specifically, the robot songs reminds me of Hunger Games a lot.
Interesting. It's been a while since I've seen Hunger Games.
It reminds me of like one, I forget which Hunger Games song it is, but it reminds me of it. And then the song playing when Varellus, the Zephyr, and Demerzel gives her the cold shoulder and walks away was very Ramin Djawadi, Game of Thrones season 7-ish vibes. Cersei burning down the Sept of Baelor type vibes with the music. So I'm just getting a lot of that from the show, and I think it's purposeful because they're trying to tap into that audience. So, yeah. I don't know who the composer is, but we could look it up on another episode.
Yeah. Next episode, perhaps. Did you have a favorite character of the episode? I'm sure you had at least one.
I had several, man. It's hard on this one to pick one. I really liked Harry Seldon in this episode.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the Mule. I mean, there's a lot of people I liked. Harry, the Mule, Day, and probably Beta. I really enjoyed Beta as well.
Okay. They were all really good. I only wrote one down because it's somebody I almost never pick.
Demerzel?
No, I like Demerzel. She's great. But I don't think I pick her that often. You're probably right about that. Dusk. For me, it was Dusk.
Yeah. Dusk was awesome.
I think he killed it for like the little bit that he was in this episode. I absolutely loved it, and I was just like, "Yep, that did it for me." Like, you're getting my vote this episode. So for me, it's Dusk.
No, he carried.
Oh, he did. It was phenomenal, and I think he's gonna be very important in the next episode too. So I'm excited to see that and what he does with his Novaculum. How about scene? What was your favorite scene of the episode?
That's tough. I think that's damn near impossible in this episode. I love the Mule and Harry scene, and I love Day's trial. Those are my two favorite.
For me, it's Day's trial. Day in the Sanatorium. I think that was honestly one of the most intriguing parts of the episode to me. Just overall,
that was one of the most intriguing parts of the series.
That's
100%.
First off, I was like, okay, so humming, whatever tunes they're humming, is bringing this robot head to life. That was wild. I was a little shocked about that. But I guess it's really not dead. Like, it's just, this is how they communicate with sounds or frequencies. Maybe that's some tie into this whole black hole thing. I don't know. But I thought that was super interesting. Day ending up humming.
I still
the song
find it
that Demerzel sang to him when he was a kid, which was basically her looking for other robots out there.
I still find these people kooky, though, to be honest with you. Like, I find them kooky. They worship the robot as a god, even though it's a created being.
Yeah, it is.
So
it's a created being, but I think the angle is that it's a pure being, right? It's created by humans, but with the goal of being pure and helpful, not harmful to things. So I feel like that, I can buy that at the very least.
Yeah, and why is that? Because they're programmed that way by humans.
Correct. Yeah, but you can't program a human that way. So it is weird. It's weird that they're serving a robot as a god, but it's
Well,
almost like they feel a perfect being was created. So it's understandable if that's your overall objective, is to worship something pure and perfect.
I do think that these people, though, are unenviable, because how do you follow a guy like the Sun Master? Like, if you follow a guy like that, then you are brainwashed and absolutely doomed. So I can't imagine those people being great figures. So
No, I can't imagine that either. But it did lend for a great scene.
Yep.
All right. The after show?
The after show. Let's get into it with your outro, and then or do we do the outro after the after show?
No, we do the outro after the after show. The after show is for the people who were kind enough to stick around this long, listen, hopefully enjoy everything that we've talked about. Probably has already hit that subscribe and like button. So this is for you.
Beautiful. What you got going on, man? What you been watching? What's new? What's going on? I heard you had a doorbell ring at like 10:30 at night. Was everything good over there?
Yeah, just before we started, I was about to boot up my computer, and I was sitting downstairs, just finished the episode, was watching a video or whatever, and the doorbell rings, and I'm like, it's freaking 10:30 at night. Who the hell's ringing my doorbell? So, I did my little maneuver around the house to make sure everything was clear, everything was copacetic. I think some moron just rang the wrong doorbell. That or a frog jumped on it. That was my initial thought.
A frog.
We've had a lot of frogs out here recently, like tree frogs and stuff like that. And they love hanging out around the door. I don't know why. They just love it. So
They have all the space, and they need to come into our space. I'm not a big fan of frogs, personally.
I mean, I don't love them. I don't hate them.
Tree frogs are not terrible because they're cute, but like toads are just disgusting.
Toads are just like buffalo toads are absolutely disgusting. Yeah. I hate those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're nasty looking creatures. I don't like them. Well, I'm glad you sorted that out, sir.
Thank you. Me too. So am I. What's up with you? Anything new?
I can use some sleep. I'll tell you that. That is where I am at this current moment. But I've been watching a good amount of films. I started to watch the movie My Cousin Vinny. I've been just going down classic film, range. I don't know if I talked about this in the last episode, but I watched 10 Things I Hate About You. I watched the movie. Did I do a review on the movie? Did you edit it?
I haven't edited it yet. I was going to tell you after the podcast.
I forgot about
I'll probably
it.
get to it tomorrow.
I've been doing a lot of stuff, haven't I?
It's been a busy week.
I did a review on a romance flick called The Map That Leads to You on Amazon Prime. By the time Zach gets around to editing it, nobody will care about the movie anymore. But, no, I'm just kidding. But thank you for editing it.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate that. And hopefully the people enjoy it. But get it up for them, please.
I will. I'm not going to make any comments on it, but I actually ended up watching that last night with Kayla. So
what'd you think
or
about
2 days ago? I'm not going to comment on that. I'm gonna wait. I'll bring it up in the next episode after people have had a chance to actually give it a listen. So or give it a watch or give it a listen as well. We'll see.
Other than that, just been working my tail off. I'm editing a show right now, and there's just so much footage to review that I'm doing that while also managing the business, and then me and you have something special cooking on our own end that we won't talk about too much on this episode, but could be a nice little interesting thing. I'm sure we could share it on the channel once we get further along with it, but I
think so too.
Yeah, and then other than that, I'm really excited for the shows coming out, man. I want to see the prequel of the Terminal List with my boy. What's his name? What's his name? He's in Friday Night Lights. He plays Riggins, but I always forget his name. Taylor Kitsch.
Okay.
It's a prequel series about him.
Mm-hmm.
That should be pretty fun because his character's kind of cool in the first one. We have Wednesday. I haven't finished watching. I was playing some Hearthstone and watching Wednesday, and I really just didn't even realize what was happening half the season. So I may have to rewatch a good portion of Wednesday.
Gotta pay attention a little bit to it. It's not very deep, but you'll get lost.
I think I caught the gist of most of what's going on in the season so far. There's way more shows coming out that I'm blanking on. Oh, The Savant on Apple TV looks fire. I sent you a trailer for two more shows. The one with Colin Farrell coming out. It's a movie, though, I think, from the director of The Conclave, which was a great, great film. Where are the trailers, man? I've texted you a lot today.
You text me a lot, too. You sent it to me, I want to say yesterday.
Yeah, The Ballad of a Small Player, coming to Netflix very soon, I believe. And then Task is coming out on HBO. That to me was my most anticipated of the year until I saw The Savant, which also looks incredible. And then there's another one coming out with one of my favorite actors. What the hell is it called? I saw the trailer for it today and I didn't even send it to you.
No, you didn't send this one to me.
It's called something Frontier, I think it's called. Coming soon to Apple TV. Let me see.
Let's see. Apple TV, Frontier.
Frontier.
Is it literally just Frontier? Yeah.
I think so. What is the description? It's supposed to be about a sheriff who has to protect a town from a plane full of convicts that literally crashed nearby.
The Last Frontier.
The Last Frontier.
October 10th. Yeah.
That looks insane. We have Slow Horses coming out late September. We have The House of Guinness, which is probably my most hyped show right now because I love like mobster type stuff.
I love period pieces, so I'm very excited for that.
We have Stranger Things coming out in November. We have there's just a crap ton of shows. Invasion. I haven't even watched a single episode yet of season 3. So
I haven't had a chance to. I've been trying to watch Chief of War. I've got one episode in so far. I did thoroughly enjoy it. I just haven't had a chance to really dive into that anymore. So I might give that a go this weekend. I might give Invasion season 3 a go this weekend as well. But there's just so much that's very entertaining to watch that I'm torn. I gotta pick one, stick with it, and I'll get through the next one soon.
Yeah. Other than that, my favorite football team lost to a League 2 English team yesterday in the Carabao Cup, which was probably the most disgraceful loss I've ever seen my team endure. So it's been a down day recovering from that loss.
I have no skin in the game on that one, so.
And then now there's like a whole manager drama now. Everybody hates us. It's amazing how dumb a lot of the fans are. Like it's just incredible to me, like the low IQ takes people. Like it's just such a crazy thing. Like people just, what do they say? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Outcome. Yeah.
It's that people are asking for the same thing over and over, expecting a different outcome. And it's just like at some point you gotta, stick with the girl you took to prom. You know what I mean? Like you gotta just stay with the one you took to the dance. And just stick it out. But no, everybody's like clamoring. It's a mess. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this show and the after show, and subscribe to the channel. Zach, let's close this thing out.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Foundation by Story Archives. You can find this podcast anywhere you find podcasts, Apple and Spotify primarily, or you can visit us on YouTube at, what is it? Soapbox House? Story Archives?
House.
Yes, yeah.
Contact us up on the web. At soapbox.house is our
late,
email.
bro. It's late, yeah. Email us at contact at soapbox.house.
Yeah, we actually have to plug that because people, we haven't been talking about the email. But yes, send us all your fan feedback, all your show feedback to contact at soapbox.house, or put it in the YouTube comments because we will read them as well, which we didn't do in this episode, but we should have.
Yeah, there's a lot of, we've had a lot of traction on YouTube recently, which is great. Thank you. It's Soapbox Podcast Network on YouTube. We should probably update that at some point, dude.
I thought it's Story Archives now.
No, it's not. Not yet. It might be soon, though. We'll see.
We should change it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But if you're in doubt, just go to soapbox.house and you'll find links to the show and all of the places that we are on the internet. Until next time.
We're the Story Archives podcast, pal.
We are? Is it changed?
You're tripping. I changed it a while ago. Yeah.
Bro, you didn't tell me.
I did tell you.
The handle?
We're at Story Archives podcast. We've been that for ages.
All right, hold on. I gotta double check this. I don't know if that's true or not.
You can
You're telling me
verify
I've
it.
been Soapbox podcast.
Doesn't
Network.
exist. Doesn't
Hold
exist
on.
anymore.
Did you change that?
I changed
When
it
did you
ages
change it?
ago. Ages ago. We talked
Well,
about this.
Hopefully, I'm not pushing people to the wrong place. We'll see. Well, cool. Well, then, Story Archives. Oh, goodness. It is late. It is late.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I'm
you
literally
did. Yeah, we did. Story Archives. How about that? Gosh dang it. What?
Usually it's
Go
you
there.
who remembers the things, but
Yeah, usually I guess this one is just missed on me. Dang, our Peaky Blinders season 1 episode 1 breakdown, which my God was filmed such a long time ago, 18,000 views so far. That's incredible.
I
18,000.
never even realized how many views it had. Let me see.
18,000
Old-
views.
Oldest one, huh?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's probably one of our worst episodes because it's
It is. It's you got your full bed in the background. You would absolutely hate that.
yeah, yeah, and we have 2K on the next one. It just gets because that was our first time doing the pod, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's incredible.
I got my whole flow in the back.
My background's
I think
pretty
I had
cool.
just moved. I had recently moved into that place. Actually, no, because I had moved my bed to that position because I had it on the other side of the room before that. So
These are only the gems that you get during the after show. So thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in.
yeah.
But anyways, until next time.
All right, have a good one,
Peace.
guys.